Quick introduction, guys. For those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Neff. Some of you on this call, we've talked. Some of you we haven't. But I'm the founder of a company called Pre-Approve Me. And, we're going to talk a little bit about our product at the end of this as one of the methods for solving this problem. But just to give you a little bit of background, I started doing loans in 2005, was full-time originator, absolutely focused on realtor relationships. Had great coaching early on. Realtors are always going to feed their families, which meant that they were going to generate deals. So they were the best referral source for me, and I built my career with that mindset. As probably a lot of you have experienced, there's obviously issues that come along with focusing on realtor relationships. And today, the problem we're going to look at solving, I call the Trojan Horse strategy for attracting real estate agents. I talk to dozens of loan officers every week, and when I ask the question, what is the biggest fear you have in your business? Most loan officers who are honest say they don't like making cold calls. Okay, they don't want to call a real estate agent out of the blue and take them to coffee and drop off donuts. At the end of the day, that is natural. Well, my promise to you today is that this strategy requires zero cold calling. So you're not going to hear from me, pick up the phone and start dialing for dollars. Okay, we're going to leverage your existing trusted relationships. They're going to invite that big, beautiful, hollow Trojan horse into their world. And then you're going to find out a way to blast out of that horse like the Kool-Aid man screaming, "Oh yeah," as realtors ask you to send you their next deals. Okay, that is our weird analogy for the day. Okay, so the goal today with the Trojan Horse is to put your brand on the buyer's phone before or even after Zillow, Rocket, and Redfin get there. And that is the crux to how I'm leveraging this in my business. Okay, so let's see here. Recently, I had coffee with a real estate agent, and she said something that in the meeting at the time kind of pissed me off. Now, I think emotions can run high in the moment, but when I thought about it, what I understand now is that Zillow and Redfin, which is a part of Rocket and Trulia and all these other companies, they're winning the long-term battle when it comes to engagement of our customers. Okay, what she told me was that the last 3 buyers that she had talked to came into her world already pre-approved with a lender they met through Zillow, through a marketplace. Okay, maybe it wasn't exactly Zillow, but it was through a marketplace. She didn't refer them. They just showed up to her open house that way, pre-approved and ready to buy. Now, that's not completely uncommon for a borrower to be pre-approved when they start looking at open houses. But what has shifted is the dynamic and the location of where they're getting pre-approved. Okay. So that concept of people now sort of bypassing the real estate agent as a first point of contact and getting pre-approved through an aggregator online is very risky to your business. Unless you're the one buying leads. Okay. So that's a different strategy. No, I'm not going to teach that one. Okay. So the trick here is, guys, we need to sort of take this handoff and reframe sort of the doom and gloom that I was naturally reacting to. It was like, how are we going to compete with that? They got there first. Reframe it so that realtors do not lose the handoff. Roughly half of buyers that still come to the agent first. The agent can refer you, and then you can pre-approve them. Okay, that half is, of course, alive and well, and you protect it by being a good partner, right? Collaboration, working together to convert that lead. But here's the part that matters most. It's the second half. It's the half that came in already pre-approved. Okay. With the right technology in the buyer's hands, provided by the real estate agent, you can actually win back those clients who've gone out and gotten pre-approved through those online aggregators. Okay. But the trick is, and this is the hard part, okay, because agents don't like to put their relationship with the customer on the line for your sake. If they think it's a puts them at risk of that borrower not working with them. I asked a real estate agent about this not long ago. I said, hey, we used to work together a lot. Why don't you refer me anymore? Well, it's like, well, a lot of people are coming off the streets already pre-approved, and I'm just not willing to risk my relationship with the buyer to force you as a loan officer. Now, not every realtor feels that way. Some real estate agents literally only want to work with the people they trust. That's great. But those who don't have the stones to push it, they need a better reason. Okay. So the agents focus on attracting a new client. They won't go to war for their lender unless they're sure it's going to help them convert the buyer as well. And that's what we're going to walk you through. Okay, we're going to walk you through a cycle of giving them the confidence to take that 50% already committed clients and referring them to you. Now, once they have that confidence, of course, the goal is to get all of that realtor's business. So let's walk through it. So I want to show you this is not a blip, okay? This is a 25-year migration. Back in around 2020, I was a junior in high school. A buyer who wanted to buy a house, the agent was always the front door. Okay, only about 8% of home buyers at the time found houses online, and the agent was roughly half of half of how the buyers found the house they were brought to them. So like you literally contacted Susan. Today, okay, more than half of buyers find their home online, not from the realtor. They find them themselves, self-service through an aggregator. Okay, Redfin, Zillow. Okay, that means that the agent share has fallen to about under 30%. That is the interception that's happening kind of in slow motion over the last 2 decades. But here's the part that matters, and the reason why is still winnable. 88% of buyers still close with a real estate agent. Okay, it's just that their first move is online, and the relationship with the realtor is real. So your job is to get in front of that first move or to incept that move and redirect it to your funnel. And that's what we're going to show you here. Okay, it's a hyper-personalized educational tool that you control where you can take the business back from Zillow. All right. So here's the 3 companies today. You guys probably know all these companies: Zillow, Rocket, and Better. Okay, this is what we call platform warfare. So notice that these 3 companies, they're separate. They don't work together, and they have different ways of taking your customers. Zillow is an aggregator, so it grabs the buyer at search and sells the interest to whoever pays them the most. Rocket's who I call the consolidator. They got a brilliant business plan where they sort of have consolidated a full service of technology. So it's one company that's spanning the entire life cycle, and I've done webinars on this in the past before, where you start with search, and you make your mortgage payment, and they're managing sort of the technology that handles all that, right? With their Redfin, Rocket Money, Rocket Mortgage, and their Mr. Coopers of the world. Okay, Better is more of like the automator, so their whole pitch is like AI underwrite loans in under a minute. AI assistant answers questions around the clock, and it's sort of openly racing to make human loan officers optional. Okay, it's different tactics, but the same target. And your customer, the target is your customer, and it's your job. So we have to protect ourselves from these types of companies. So let me take you back to my origination days, long before I built software. And this is where the Trojan Horse came into existence, okay? This is a strategy in miniature, what we just talked about with Rocket. This is the strategy in miniature, but it's how I know the Trojan Horse works, okay? I worked with a John L. Scott office. I don't know if you've got those in your area, but John L. Scott's kind of a big deal in the P&W. There was about 45 agents in the office, but I got in there through one agent relationship. I was pretty young, okay, when I did this. But I got in there through one agent, and she loved working with me because I made her business better. And before long, I was going into her office every week to have meetings with her. And before long, about 6 or 7 of the agents in the office were calling me. Okay, I was sort of, then when I would go back the next week, I would sort of move from office to office, literally move from one meeting to the next meeting all day long. It was like I call it tour Tuesdays. And I just went in and I toured the entire office. And so after about a month or two of this happening, the principal broker, his name is Steve Schmidt. So he's a great guy. Actually, I know him really well. We used to do Thanksgiving dinners, like family friends. We do Thanksgiving dinners with him and his family. And he called me into his office and he said, Mike, hey, I see you in here a lot. And I was beaming. I was like, yeah, man, we're having so much success with your realtors. They're closing more business. I'm teaching them, contact conversion, teaching them how to use CRMs. I became a coach for these realtors in their business. Okay. Now, good news, our strategy today doesn't require you to become an expert. So we'll talk about that. But I expected Steve at that time to hand me some kind of award for my good work. I thought he was going to give me some kind of pat on the back, Instead, what he actually asked me to do was leave the office and never come back. Now think about that for a second. I spent the last 2 months working with about 7 or 8 of the realtors in the office. I was helping them close more deals, convert more leads, generate more buyer activity, generate listings, close more of those transactions, convert them. And he wanted me to leave and never come back. Now, I'll remind you, I've got his cell phone number in here. I know where he lives. We do Thanksgivings together. So this is not an easy ask for him. I was blown away. Why did he do this? So I asked him, I don't understand. He said, well, it's really simple. It's just economics. It's business, not personal. He said that the JV he had in his office kept their lights on. And I was taking business away from the joint venture. Okay, makes sense. So I was kind of young and naive. And I said, well, wouldn't you make more money if if I take Paula's production from 3 transactions a month to 5? And he said, actually, no, I make less money. He said, the reason why is because everyone in their office has to pay a desk fee. Okay, that desk fee is, let's call it 20 grand a year. No matter what, they pay the desk fee. Once they get to the desk fee, they're capped. They never pay any more. So if I take an agent who does just enough business to pay the desk fee and I double it over the next year, what I'm actually doing is draining the office of resources. He says, they have more garbage. They have more toner they use in the printer. There's more support. They bring more people into the building. It creates congestion. And so what he was telling me was that what he wanted was the lowest producer realtors who could cover their desk fee in his office. And that was their business model. That was the entire model. I don't know about you, but that feels like a broken incentive structure. Okay. One that was not going to build a culture of success. Instead, it was going to build a culture of what matters most is the revenue to our company and to reduce the expenses, not your success as a realtor. Okay, so I hated that. That broker is every consolidator we just talked about. They're the Rockets, they're the Betters, they're the Zillows. It's the same model that they're using, just with bigger walls. So now agents are inside are millions of buyers being routed to a lender they never chose. Okay. Here's the hopeful part though. The broker couldn't stop me. So once the agent saw what I was doing, that I was bringing real value, the landslide started, and he could try to evict me. He did from his office, but that is a leverage you have, and the Trojan horse is how you use it. So I took those meetings offsite. The broker would try to shut me down, but it only turned us into like a speakeasy, right? He built the walls, we just moved underground, and just like the prohibition, one agent knew where to find the good stuff, and the establishment was completely powerless to stop it from happening. Okay, agents would come in out the back door. Eventually, he actually asked me to replace his in-house lender, which I was very happy to politely decline because I had already earned all of the realtors in that office's business, and I didn't have to pay any money for it. So that is a true story about me. It's 2012 when that happened, so a long time ago. But listen, the nature of people hasn't changed. The solutions we bring to the table have, though. And that's what we're going to talk about. So the Realtor Trojan Horse. Here's the actual strategy, okay? And I alluded to it, okay? But I'm going to spell it out to you because I'm kind of dumb, so I need people to spell things out for me. Here's the actual strategy. And the best part is it requires no cold calling anywhere. Step one, you book a meeting with a real estate partner you already know, not a stranger, someone who already likes working with you. Okay. And you're at their office. This is the part that matters. Okay. You need to do it in their office. This didn't work as well during COVID, guys, but people are back in offices now. Okay. Week one, you walk in and you show them a piece of value. Okay. In this case, what I'm going to show you is a piece of technology that wins their attention, but it doesn't have to be our solution. Okay. So keep that in mind, but something that wins their attention and brings them value. Okay. Your only goal in the first visit is to earn an invitation back the next week. Week two, you come back and you train them on the next piece. So by now, people start asking questions like, why is this loan officer here again? Okay, they see it. It's like I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but real estate offices are a bit cultish. They they're interested. They're what's going on? Who's this thing in our ecosystem? Who's this person? That's not the JV loan officer. So why do they keep showing up? That's what they start asking. Then once your agent is genuinely excited and you know that they're connected to other agents, you ask them to introduce you to somebody else in the office who could use the same fill in the blank, technology, service, coaching, right? Until you rinse and repeat and you hit critical mass in that office. I've watched many loan officers use this strategy exactly to sign JV agreements, desk fee agreements with other real estate companies, okay, to become the primary lender in an office. Now, like I did, you don't have to actually sign an agreement either. You can just provide enough value that they start using you, okay? And you can run this in every office in town. So when I was building my production, people would tell me, you don't want to sign a JV agreement because then your entire business is in that office. And if something goes wrong, a transaction goes sideways, you could go from like $3 million a month in production from that office to zero because it spreads like wildfire. Even if it's not your fault, they're going to blame you. And we've all been there. Okay. So I developed this strategy where I would say, no desk fee agreements. I don't want to commit to anybody as far as an office. Instead, I'm going to get one realtor I know in this one. I'm going to go across to the Remax over here. I'm going to go to the John L. Scott over there. I'm going to go to enter the Corcoran real estate company over there. And I'm going to create one relationship in each office. And then I'm going to build a pillar in each one of those. And I'll have so many pillars that no one transaction or no one realtor can tank my business. Okay. Well, once you bring real value in that office, you'll spread like wildfire. The wedge is three things working together. So let's talk about our sort of done for you solution. Okay. One, a white label mobile app on your borrowers and your realtors' phones. Okay. Which is, by the way, if you look at the statistics, people actually wear underwear. This is a wild stat, guys. People wear underwear less than they leave their house with a phone. Like people are, what do they call it? What's that called, Chris? Free balling? Yeah. More. Commando. That's it. I used the inappropriate version. They're less likely to leave their house without their phone than they are without underwear. Okay. Or however you want to present that. They're going to have their phone. I should practice that one a little bit. Okay. There are three tools that borrowers, okay. Your face, besides theirs, there's a reason why you want a native app on their phone. Your face sits right next to your realtor partners on the app. Okay. You want to make sure it's valuable so your customers get value from this. So there's a suite of tools attached to it. And I'm going to show you guys. Okay. We'll get there. Make sure that you are presenting the proper tools to your clients and realtors so they have a strong reason to refer you. And that's the trick. All right. On the right-hand side of your screen, guys, here, this is my app. Okay. Renegade Home Mortgage. Now, what I'm logged into here is a real estate agent account. When I'm going to go into my real estate agent's office, I'm going to ask them some very important questions. The most important is, what do you care for in a realtor, in a loan officer relationship? Okay. Generally speaking, they tell me four things. They want leads. Okay. They're the ones with the listings. They should be providing leads. Okay. So that is one, that's kind of a red flag. They may not have the capacity to refer you to begin with. Doesn't mean they're not useful. Doesn't mean they're not going to be great partners for you. But it gives you an idea of where their minds are. Okay. What we're going to be able to help them do is convert more of their leads, and we'll show them how. The second thing they want is they want, in no particular order, they want communication. Okay. They want to know what's happening in the loan. They don't want to feel like they're left in the wilderness, unsure about what's happening behind Wizard of Oz's curtain. The third thing they really want is closure. Okay. If they're going to refer you, they need to trust the deal can close on time with no stress. That is a big one. If you close late even one day, sometimes it's enough to jeopardize your reputation with the realtor. Not all of them, but some of them. You've been there. And the last thing they need is honesty. So like, doesn't that feel like it's par for the course? It should be, at least. The problem is, and this is what I like to tell realtors when they tell me they need honesty. The problem is it's very difficult to set accurate expectations for your customers, specifically around how much home they can afford to buy. This is somebody who's already been pre-approved by you, and they're either out there in the woods shopping for real estate. Okay, Zillow is going to be a primary method for them to go and shop. Okay, we all know that if you just ask any consumer, where are you going to find your house? They're going to say online and likely through Zillow. Okay, so here is how we cut through the clutter when it comes to that. We give both the realtor and the customer, our borrower, the ability to shop for real estate nationwide, but to make it more useful and more accurate, we're going to ensure that every listing has all of their financial details tied to it. So for your real estate agent, this is what I call know before you show. It gives them the ability to go in here, check out the listing, identify if they're qualified, request a tour. This goes directly to your real estate agent and to you. And if they want to, they can request a pre-approval letter directly from the listing. This goes to their email in a PDF. Now, as you saw on some of these other listings here, okay, they can chat with you as well. But you can see not all of these are qualified. That's because this payment is too much for the client. So what I like to tell real estate agents is, listen, if I'm going to set good expectations for you and ensure that you're not wasting your time showing houses to clients they can't afford to buy, I need to give you some tools. And one of the most important tools is a place for them to shop safely in a co-branded environment with information that they can't get from Zillow. I'm going to tell my clients, listen, if you're going to shop online, not in our ecosystem, at least use our calculator, because it knows everything that makes you uniquely qualified. And Zillow is going to show you a payment that is nothing to do with you and everything to do with selling your information to 30 loan officers. So here we go. We got our sort of qualification calculator. It lets me change these details based on the details here. So if I go ahead and let's just make the price 800 grand, see what happens. We're going to move here from qualified to not qualified. And instead of getting a pre-approval letter, we have to request review. So we use DTI, asset verification, loan guidelines, min-max loan amounts, et cetera, to power this. Now, some of you guys can connect it to your LOS systems. You can zap the data over from your CRM, whatever you want, or you can manually enter it. Okay. But this is the first big problem we're going to solve for realtors, which is setting better expectations. It's that honesty piece. So then what are we talking about? The next thing they want is communication. Okay. Most real estate agents have been burned by a loan officer telling them they communicated well and they dropped the ball. I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying that is the reality of sales. We're going to tell somebody the thing they want to hear so they give us the chance to earn their business. And if it's one of the big four things that a realtor looks for, you're probably not going to win their business by saying, I'm crap at communicating. You're never going to hear from me. Like the only time you're going to hear from me is when the loan's signed. That is probably not going to win your business. So what we're going to do instead of tell, we're going to show. So we're going to put in the palm of their hand. We're going to say, listen, you got access to a pipeline. Every customer, we have all these milestones built into here. You can read about what's happening in the mortgage, what's next. We send an email, we send a text message, a push notification. You can update, look in the mobile app and in the web portal. That way you don't have to stress. And of course, we're here if you want to call us and chat about it, that's fine. But every single loan is put through the same system, so you know exactly what's happening. Now there's no question anymore. Okay, the third thing they want, what is the number one reason a loan closes late today in the mortgage industry? Okay, number one reason why, statistically speaking, we can't get documents from our clients to do our job. Okay, now I'm not talking about appraisal issues. Okay, I'm talking about the things that we can sort of control. Okay, why can't we get those documents? Your clients have every excuse in the book. Here are some of the common ones. I didn't know I needed to get that to you. Why? Tell the realtors, here's why. Because email is now noise. It's not signal. Okay. You don't strike home when you're emailing a customer anymore. You're competing against every single person and every single AI agent or CRM drip campaign or business that wants their attention. So you need one location for them to manage the entire process where they know when I'm in here, this is what I'm doing. I'm managing my mortgage. And you need a way to communicate directly to them, to the device they carry around with them 24/7, 365. Okay. Push notification, text, email, web app, mobile app. And they won't say anymore, I didn't know I needed to get that to you. You simply have it right in the palm of your hand. Here's what's needed. Here's the current status of it. Here's what's completed. Here's what's in review. Complete clarity for everybody. Okay. Now, of course, you can do things like take pictures of it. It crops, enhances it, turns it into a PDF. They can grab it from online. They can drop it into here. It's very easy to use. Now, here's the thing. How do your realtors take this and they turn leads into active customers? Well, one of the ways you can do that is you can coach them to lead with what we call privacy. When a realtor pitches this app, they don't present it as a cool tool, okay? If they do that, adoption is very mediocre, okay? Because there's tools online, I can find stuff. Of course they can, but it's not inside your walled garden, okay? 2 weeks ago's webinar. Instead, flip the script and present this as a way to maintain their privacy in this walled garden, and will maintain your privacy. Your information is never sold. You're not going to get calls from 30 loan officers or from 15 real estate agents. Okay. This is how we protect our customers. Download my app. It's going to protect you. It's going to set better expectations. It's going to give you the information you need when and where you need it. So you can effectively move through this process without getting called from 30 loan officers. Here's the thing. Okay, how one agent becomes a whole office. This is the same landslide from my origination story, just with modern tools. So I was coaching contact and lead conversion marketing funnels, but I had to be the subject matter expert. You just need the solution to their biggest problems in the mortgage and real estate field. Okay, long-term client engagement. You convince one realtor, you get them to adopt it, and then you make it their life, their conversions, their mortgage experience with you measurably better, and the office watches. Okay, that's why you always meet in their office. And about 60 days later, you got 5 agents in that office. The brokers won't love you if it's, my experience is any indicator, but the agents will. Okay, the agents will, and that's how we make money. All right, so day one partner, weeks 2 to 6, her deals close cleaner. She talks about it in the office. 60, the office wants in. Social proof spreads faster than any cold call you could make. All right. We talked about this. So here's the pre-approve me officer, okay? If everything I just showed you makes sense and you want to run it without building any of this yourself, because you can, like I did, you could provide your own unique set of value. You could become an industry expert in AI, teach AI skills to realtors, okay? Then what we have is essentially a done with you solution. Okay, it's called Pre-Approve Me. It's a branded mobile app. It's configured for your business needs, your expertise, your niche. And I coach you once a week. We get together and I coach you with how those meetings go. What else do we need to add to this to make it more effective for you? You bring the relationships you already have, and we'll get this done with you. Okay, so here are the 4 things we hand you. Okay. And the 4 problems they solve. A native app puts you on your client's screens so they never put you down. Home search is pre-configured to your client's qualification. It keeps them off Zillow, keeps them captive while they're in that risky part of the process where they're shopping for homes, so they can actually know what they qualify for. The scripts in the landing page mean you walk into a realtor meeting with something of value instead of bagels. It gives you 6 strong reasons to refer. Okay. We'll give you 6 strong reasons to refer. We'll talk about it in the training. Okay. And the last but not least, we're going to coach you through your first offices. So you can go there prepared with the script, equipped with the right tools in a very structured format. Next week, we report how to go. What do we need to tweak? What's the next target? We expect in the first 90 days that you'll generate enough relationships that you'll make 30 extra K next year, minimum in new loan revenue. This is just a live case study. James Adair, one of our customers, says this is the wow factor when he shows his realtors. It allows him to remain productive during critical daytime hours, and it helps him get his loans closed fast. Okay, and he claims in the first few months, it generated 30K in business for him. I have got about 30 of those kinds of testimonials. The question is, what's one realtor relationship worth to you? So just pick, an average real estate agent. How much is that relationship worth to you? Okay. Guarantee the solution pays for itself. Okay. Or we work with you for free. So here's how you actually learn how to take action on this. And we didn't talk, there's 4 of these pillar strategy calls we're doing here. This is the second of 4. So we just unlocked a small piece of the value of our platform. And we can talk about more of it in this 30-minute strategy call. Okay, we're going to look at your market and the realtor partners you already have. We're going to map what's running, what running the offer looks like to you, including the investment. And if it's a fit, we'll start building. If not, you leave with a plan. Okay, but if you are looking for long-term realtor engagement and you want to convert customers and keep them captive for 30 years. We didn't talk about that today. That was 2 weeks ago in the walled garden meeting. Then this is a solution you need to look at least be aware of, because it is the solution rockets deploying in your backyard, and they're closing 1 out of every 6 loans in the market today. Cool. QR code, scan it. Chris, I didn't test this. Yeah, no pressure, guys. I want to just see if it works for you and your business. I'd love to show you how other loan officers are taking their brands mobile, bringing value to realtors and keeping their customers for life. We can go through that on a strategy call. Any questions? Any questions? All right, guys. Thank you so much. Scan the QR code. Love to connect with you, learn more about your business, and figure out if this is a solution that makes sense for you. Either way, I hope you got value out of the Trojan Horse plan. If you guys want to brainstorm your own strategies for how to do that, I'm all ears. Let's go.